Good morning everyone. You may be able to see or hear at least that it's raining at the moment, and it's due to continue on and off throughout the day. So I'm planning on putting out lots of seedlings in between these showers. I've planted out a lot of areas in the garden this week, which I'll show you now. Plus we'll take a look at some flowers which have opened up over the last few days. There's a few new flowers which have made an appearance this week in this wild area of my garden beside the raised beds. I noticed them the other night when I was out here picking off all those slugs and snails. The first one is just down here below the orange flowers of the calendula and the dainty yellow blooms of the rocket that's gone to seed. It's my very first straw flower. This is going to be the first of many straw flowers this growing season, as I have so many seedlings on the go that will be planted out very soon. The second plant is over here just beside this Shasta daisy, which is looking very promising to flower this year. I put it in about a year ago and I haven't had any blooms on it yet, but it's really filled out now, and with all the rain we've had, I reckon it's going to be full of beautiful flowers come summer autumn time. So here we go, here's the second flower. It's called a bachelor button. It's also called a cornflower. I almost forgot that I put these plants in here. These are really easy to grow from seed, and this is the most common colour that you see, although you can get it in an array of colours like whites, pinks and purples, for example. I just picked this one off. You can actually grow these as cut flowers. There is one more flower new to this area, although it's not new to my garden, and I have shown you it in recent weeks. It's this down here, the lacy Phacelia. I have a huge patch of these flowers out in the front garden, but it's so nice to see them over here beside this lemon balm. I ended up transferring these gladioli that were in a pot over to this little section. I cleared out some more of that lemon balm, which can kind of take over a bit. I made this space and put them in here. I can't remember what colours these will be, but as you can already tell, there's like a whole mixture of colours going on in here, so it doesn't really matter. I don't really have a colour coordinated garden as such. And the other thing over here are these carnations, absolutely covered in buds. I sowed these seeds, I don't know, was it a year and a half ago? And now they filled out nicely, and it looks like I might be lucky enough to get flowers very soon. I planted up the area beside the lemon tree, putting in mostly perennial plants. In here is a aster which will flower in autumn time, along with this sedum which is called Autumn Joy. It's really easy to take cuttings from that one. This is a gara, a white gara, and then down here is a salvia called Merlot Blue. If you're gardening on a budget here in Australia and would like to increase the amount of perennials you have in your garden, I'd really recommend this company, which is called Renaissance Herbs. And they're an Australian company, and if you go to their website and type in your area, you'll find the nearest stockists. I think a lot of the Bunnings stores sell these, and they're really good price. So for these little tube stocks, this one's even grown since I put it in, and there's a bit of a flower bud there. These cost around $5.50. I think it probably varies slightly depending on which garden centre you get them from, but yeah, I definitely recommend this brand. I've used them for a long time, and they have a lovely selection of plants that suit my cottage garden. Behind these plants I have a dahlia, which is a dinner plate dahlia called Blue Edge. This is the Australian native plant that I got last year when I won the garden competition. That's the name of it there. And then beside that I have this other plant which I bought this week. It's a cistus brilliancy. I fell in love with this plant when I saw the flowers on it. Check them out, aren't they just beautiful? They remind me of poppies or anemones. I was told that it's a fast growing plant which should reach about 1.5 meters in height, filling out this space nicely, and it should continue to bloom throughout the warmer months. I did have this large concrete pot over beside the autumn joy sedum just there, but I've moved it out of the way and I'm going to try and find another good spot for it. So I've got a couple of calendulas in here which I'll be leaving, but then I have this one here which I put in last year, the Achillea red yarrow, and I didn't get any flowers off it last year. I think I might do better straight in the ground, so I might actually transplant this down to the fan garden where I'm trying to grow more cut flowers. And this one's really easy to propagate because all you have to do is pull off a little piece here at the bottom. Let me see if I can grab one just now to show you. And usually, yep, see, you get a little bit of root attached. Oh, sorry, it's out of focus. Do you see that little bit of root there? So I can put that into a pot in a shaded area for a week or two and then put it out in the sun, and in a month's time that piece there should be ready to put out into the garden. But if I want to make things a little bit easier for myself, because I've got a lot of other jobs on at the moment, I can just dig out this whole clump in here and put it straight down in the ground. Let it grow over summer, and then in autumn time, that's when I'll start to divide it up and spread it out around the garden for next year. These nasturtium flowers have really impressed me this year because they've survived the drought. And look at them now, they just keep on flowering. It's been continuous over the last few months. And in fact, this patch now is starting to kind of spread and head down over that way. In this area of the garden, I gave the perennial basil that you can see there beside the wooden archway that I haven't fixed up yet. I gave that a good chop back, and down beside it now I've amended the soil and put in a row of tricolour salvias along the front, and behind it there are globe amaranths. And as I had mentioned before, over here I put in some zinnias. There were 3 of them and one of them is gone. I think that's the end of it there. I have been coming out trying to catch all those slugs and snails every night, but they are just out of control. But I just try my best, you know. And then here at the front is a Verbena bonariensis, and then I noticed that all of these were popping up through the compost. Not quite sure what they are yet, but I'll let them grow a bit more and then try and figure out what they are and what I'll do with them. I was just standing over there and I'm now on the opposite side of this perennial basil, because I've also put some plants in this garden bed. One of them has also been eaten or chewed away, but you can see there's still 2 left here, and these little seedlings are an amaranth called Pygmy Torch. So I was trying to do a bit of a row of them. But there's only 2 here now, but not to worry because I always have backup seedlings. That is like one of the top tips I can give you as a gardener. Don't just sow what you need, always sow more, because you never know what will happen to them. And you know, if you don't use them all, you can always just give them away to your family and friends. And I thought that those plants would really complement this Australian native, which is called Festuca glauca. It's a beautiful bluish coloured grass, a lovely ornamental, and it's drought tolerant, plus it's pretty easy to propagate. Once these clumps get a bit bigger, they've been here since last year, I'll wait until they get a bit bigger and then I'll just come and divide them up and I'll be able to spread more of them around the garden. I was just sitting down for a second checking what I've recorded, and I heard this rustling in this garden bed, and I tell you, I'm very jumpy at the moment because I know snakes are about again and I'm not wearing the right shoes, which is very silly of me. I might go in now and grab my boots. I was just about to show you what I've got behind this lime tree when I spotted something in amongst the leaves of this red mustard green. Look at this. Look at this, look at all these snails. They're not even trying to hide anymore. They're like taking over the place. And I do know that a lot of you who follow me who are from Australia are having the same issues at the moment. I haven't just heard it here on YouTube, but also on Instagram as well. There seems to be a big, I don't know if plague is the right word, it's probably an exaggeration, but people are having a lot of issues with these this springtime. Okay, so I'm now standing behind the lime tree. Look at this, lots of little limes coming on there, because this week I cleared underneath it, and you may remember last year this is where I had the cucamelon vines growing up along this chicken wire fence. Fence is a bit of a stretch, it doesn't look very secure, but anyway. But the great thing is I came to check and see how my cucamelon tubers were doing. And it looks like the 3 that were in here have survived the winter. There's one there, there's one just there too, and there's one up over there as well. And I think it was this one, when I had a close look, there was little green growth on it. I can't see it at the moment, so you'll have to take my word for it. So these cucamelons, you can actually overwinter them. They are very similar to dahlias in that they form tubers. So they're perennial, they'll come back year after year. Here's another area that I planted up. In fact, that's all I feel like I'm showing you at the moment. But that's the way it is, I guess, in springtime. It's all about getting your plants in the ground, getting them set up before the weather heats up too much. So here where I have this semicircle, it was meant to be a bean fort during the summer, but that didn't work out. So this year I've put in some sunflowers all along here, and hopefully I'll have a bit of a sunflower fort. I'm not sure how that will go, because the sunflowers were shocking last year with the cockatoos coming in and breaking them up before they had a chance to flower. But I want to give it another try, because prior to last year I did actually have a sunflower fort here every single year, and I'm going to give it one more go. I know a few of you have said to me that once the cockatoos find the flowers, they remember, they're pretty smart, and they come back. So I don't know, I'm kind of half prepared for it not to work out, but if it doesn't, it doesn't. I can always put something else in its place. And here also I've put in some of those asters. These ones are called California Giant. There's about 6 of them there. So they're new to me this year. Not sure how they'll go, but you know, I always love trying out new plants. We've almost come to the end of this week's garden update, but not before I show you these beautiful yellow bearded irises here in front of the Gardenia ovata. I've just picked one of the flowers, and I'm going to grab a bunch of this lovely Australian native now to bring into the kitchen. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll see you again next Friday.